It's spooky season finally. Well, it's always been spooky season,
It's so hard
but
when you start the conversation that it's spooky season. We've been claiming it's spooky season since like June.
we've been claiming it since January.
You're wild.
So I'm trying to like truck through a few movies and TV shows and whatnot. Life's a little chaotic, so I haven't done as many as I wanted to, but I'm getting through there. But I was realizing something today as I was watching a movie was that this movie's good, but it's kind of boring,
Mm.
and very long, and that's The Shining.
That
Um,
that is a that is a very accurate take. A very
yeah, like
accurate
it's
take.
good, but it's kind of boring.
So, my exposure to scary movies are few and far between.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
The Shining was one that like Katie wanted me to watch when we were still dating, like before we had kids. And I watched it and I got to the end and I was like, okay, that was a good movie. And I have never rewatched
Yeah.
it and I've never had the desire to rewatch it. And
Yeah.
going back and thinking about it, that's exactly what it is. It's an okay movie. It's just like it's also a really simple premise. I think that's the other thing that got me. Like,
Yeah.
it is not a complicated movie. And I think maybe the expectations were given to me that it would be like a complicated M. Night Shyamalan twist kind of thing.
Right.
It's just a guy gets cabin fever and tries to kill his family. Like,
Yeah. Totally.
and does
And
it.
it's and he doesn't. No. Yeah, it's a slow moving movie, but it's supposed to be that way, right? Like you're supposed to feel
You're supposed to get the cabin
trapped.
fever, right? Like you the
Right.
viewer are supposed to get that.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm powering through it just to watch Doctor Sleep, which is very good, and I'm sure a movie that you will not watch,
No.
which is a sequel to the show.
Ewan McGregor stars in that one, right? He's the son
Does.
that goes back to the hotel.
Yeah, it's very good. It's a very good movie. But you are you watching? Do you have any spooky season kind of movies that you're feeling like might be on the horizon?
Uh, well, first off, let me start with I think two things happened yesterday that it's important to put this into context. Uh, I was down here working. Ben was watching Outdoor Boys, which is like a YouTube creator that we watch a lot. He does a lot of outdoor stuff. And one of his videos had ended and auto played the next video. I wasn't down here when it started playing. I was upstairs going to the bathroom. And I hear Ben start crying and I sprint downstairs and I look on the TV and he had face painted and like video edited like one of his kids were becoming zombies and that there were zombies coming into the house.
Oh no.
And Ben was so scared that he has told me that we watch this YouTube creator every day, all day. Like it's the guy that
Yeah.
Ben told me he doesn't want to watch him anymore. That's how scared he got
Oh
of this like
no.
fake video edit. And I was like, Ben, it's makeup. It's fake. Like that's just his son Jacob. Like you know it's all fake. And he's like, I don't want to watch it anymore. I don't want to watch it anymore. And won't watch Camping Guy at all. And so
No.
that's number one. Number two, as we were going to bed last night, Katie was looking at Halloween books to get the kids, and they have like an illustrated Nightmare Before Christmas book.
Yeah.
And sorry to disappoint you, also not surprise you, Katie's never seen Nightmare Before Christmas.
What? Really?
I was a little bit surprised she had never even seen it. Um, Katie, well-known hater of things that she's never experienced, so it
Yeah.
does not surprise me from that facet. Um, but she's like, "What's the story about?" And I was like, "Well," and I gave a quick synopsis. I was like, "Jack, he's the Halloween king, pumpkin king, Halloween
Right.
guy, wants something more, ends up in Christmas Town, wants to take over Christmas because he likes Christmas so much, can't do it, and then in the end, the big lesson is Santa tells him you can enjoy Christmas, but you don't have to like own Christmas. That's like the lesson behind it,
Right.
right?" And she goes, "Oh, you think Ben would like it?" and just immediate thinking back to like how scared he got at a fake zombie YouTube video. I was like, no, no, I don't
Yeah.
think Ben will like it at all.
All right. Well, I guess it's time for you guys to just move straight back into Christmas movies.
Katie was today on her phone. I was like, Katie, like, don't show Ben things on your phone. Like, we're trying to go to bed right now. She goes, we're shopping for Christmas. I was like, well, Christmas in like 2.5 months. She goes, Christmas starts November 1st. I was like, oh my God. Oh my God.
We live in two different worlds.
Oh, we absolutely do.
Dads.
Welcome to Big Dad Energy, the journey of parenting and adulting through the eyes of two young dads. I'm your co-host, Joe Lopez, and with me, as always, is my co-dad, Jared Szymanski. Jared, how the heck are you?
Joe, I'm good. I'm good. Um, life has started to calm down just like by
That's
a
good.
touch. Like not,
Okay.
like when you have the burner all the way to high and the gas feels like it's like running out of your house, right? And you turn it down just a
Yeah.
touch and you're like, "Oh, okay, it's still a really hot flame, but like it's a little bit more That's where we're at now. Uh,
Okay.
they finished up all the work. The door is completely fixed and all done.
Good.
Um,
Good.
the kitchen is painted now. And got all that
Excellent.
taken care of. Um, so starting to feel like the chaos is easing a little bit. Um,
Good.
not completely, but starting to ease a little bit. So that's where we are. How about you? How are you doing?
Man, it's always chaos around here. Hopefully if we record next week, I can give a little like life update on things that
Mm-hmm.
are going on in this house. Um, but it's chaotic around here. It's wild all the time. Um, Life's just changing day by day, that things are going crazy around here, but it's good. There's some good movement and transitionings happening. Um, the kids are crazy.
Yeah.
Grayson has jumped over terrible twos and has immediately hit three-nager,
Ugh.
and it is bad. It is like Cora was never as bad as Grayson is, and Grayson's like not. He's not like bad. He's just like he's been always been a dramatic boy, like
Yeah.
crying at a lot of things. Now it's like very much crying all the time over things, but then also getting angry and throwing things. So like if he's angry, he will find things to throw.
Yes.
And
The
it's
the
yeah.
throwing is so bad. Both my boys went through a throwing and a biting phase. When they like didn't know how
Oh,
to
okay,
express
yeah.
their feelings, they would bite or they would throw things.
Yeah.
And that is the hardest thing to just I, even deal with because they'll do it so haphazardly, right? Like
Yeah.
they'll be not even necessarily holding something, then all of a sudden it's just wham across the room into a wall or something. Like it's
Yeah.
wild.
It's tough and he's like, he'll just like get upset by something, right? Like most kids do, like if Cora's playing with a toy that he wants. Like he'll get angry, but then he'll cry about it and like get very upset, and
Mm,
then he will get angry. Or if he doesn't want his food, like he'll again throw his plate or whatever. Or if he sees a video he wants to watch, and I'm like, no, I'm sick of watching Steve and Maggie for the 800th time
yeah.
today. We're gonna watch something else. Like things like that. He'll get angry, and then he'll. There was one time where he got angry and I saw him getting angry, so I grabbed like his plate of food and like cup and things and like moved it out of the way. And I saw him get like angry, and then he went looking for something to throw like nearby,
Hmm.
like realized his stuff wasn't on the table, so he went and like tried to grab a chair or something. I was like, dude, you got to get this under control. It's bad. Um, so he's being dramatic and angry.
Yeah.
Cora's being sassy uh, and inquisitive about things, and just like every day from school is learning more and more. Um, but overall, they're pretty good. I also think Grayson is getting to the phase where he's trying to transition out of a nap, um,
Yeah.
and that's tough.
It was Katie and I actually just talked about that the other day. that Ben was actually Will's age when he dropped his nap because he got to a point where he just wouldn't go to bed anymore, right?
Yeah.
During nap time, he just was like, nope, I'm not going to do it. And we're like, well, I'm not going to sit here and fight with you for an hour and a half until you fall asleep. Like, you just won't nap, I guess. Um, we won't do that with Will right now because one, he still goes to bed like semi okay during nap time, and two, he naps at school. So,
Yeah. Grayson does too. He naps at daycare. And but if he's not at daycare, I think he generally doesn't take a nap,
yeah.
which is great because the nights come quicker, but then you get the 4 to 7:30, 8
Ugh.
p.m. nightmare.
We're having a hard time with that. Not necessarily a hard time, but like part of the reason that it's taken us so long to record, besides craziness in life and everything like that, Will's been going to bed at like 9 o'clock, 9:30,
Yeah.
last like week, and I think it's because one, when he's at daycare, he naps a little bit later than he does here. When he's here, I try and
Yeah.
get him down at like, it depends. It depends on if Katie's mom is like around to pick Ben up from school. Um,
Right.
and if she is, then I'll try and get him down at like noon on the dot. Um,
Yeah.
if I got to take Ben to school, he doesn't get down to like 1, and then we run into the same issue. But at daycare, they don't go to go down for a nap till like 1 o'clock, and he sleeps till like 3,
Yeah.
right? And it's like then he's just having a long. I think it's like this 2-year-old leap, right? I think he just hit like that 2-year-old leap
Yeah.
and is starting to have like even longer wake windows, even having a little bit longer of a time. It's like that'd be great, except it's 9 o'clock. Katie's been asleep for an hour already, and I'm trying to like wrap up doing dishes and going to bed.
Right. Yeah, for sure. So, definitely our nights have been a little chaotic, and my kids are hit or miss if they're tonight they both went to bed by themselves at like quarter to 8,
Nice.
7:30, quarter to 8, they were both asleep. Um, didn't need melatonin. A couple nights a week I have to give them melatonin to really push the sleeping. Um, but tonight they were both ready. Like the moment they both came home, I was like, "Oh, you guys are exhausted."
Mm-hmm.
Cora came home from school at like 2:30, and she looked tired. Grayson came home from Kayla's parents at like 4:30, 5 o'clock, and he was like already getting angry and frustrated. And I was like, "Oh, you kids are ready for bed." Um, so they both at like were ready to go. 7:30. Grayson's like, "Daddy, can you come lay with me?" I was like, "You ready to go to bed?" He said, "Yeah." I was like, "All right, head to your bedroom. Let's go."
Nice.
So
Nice.
So yeah, so that's good. But other than that, life's been going, working, things like that. A few days ago, maybe about a week ago, I was giving Grayson a shower because he likes showers. He's a shower boy. And
Our kids
I
always
stepped
shower
out. I would prefer a shower than a bath. Cora likes to
all
take a tub.
all day. Honestly, I
Yeah.
it's so much easier just to put him in a shower and walk away because like there's no
Yeah.
standing water. Will's not going to dunk his head under, and I like,
Right.
and even
Yeah.
even there was a point where Ben would like splash Will in the face, right? And Will like obviously coughs because he doesn't know how to hold his breath yet. And
Right.
it's like this is just too much. We're just taking showers.
Exactly. So he was in the shower, and I walked into the kitchen to do something, and I just hear him like scream and cry. Um, Sorry, my camera just got really blurry again.
It's all right.
Um, and I was like, "Oh my God, what happened?" And I like started to run into the bathroom, and I just hear him go, "I pooped," and I was like, "What?" And I looked, and he was out of the tub, and he had pooped in the shower. I was like, "Oh God, okay." So like had to clean that all up. I sent you a text about it
Yep.
because it was hilarious. um, and now he's afraid of getting in the tub or the shower. So like super afraid. Like last night, I tried to start a shower, and he said, "Nope, no, poop and pee in the shower." No, I was like, "Do you want to take a tub?" He said, "No, don't want a tubby." And then the same thing happened today. I started the shower. He got all excited to go in the shower. I turned it on, got him undressed, and then he said, "No, I know shower. Poop and pee in the shower. I don't shower." And I was like, "Buddy, you have to shower." And then he started crying. He's like, "No, no shower." Like, "Do you want a tub?" And he's like, "No." Like, "Oh my god, like, you're afraid to get into the tub because you think you're gonna poop in it."
Mhm.
Um, so I had to force him into the shower and, like, wash him real quick, but I was like, "Dude, if this is how it's gonna be, we gotta get over this."
It is this is not a poop story in particular, but it is wild the things that kids will like compartmentalize and keep
Yeah.
because the it's this also has to do with the shower. One of our shower doors is not like our doors aren't great. I need to replace them. I need to redo the whole bathroom. I don't have time nor money to do that, but um
Right.
one of the shower doors will come off the track every now and again. It won't fall down, it won't like crash. It'll just like if you push
Yeah.
on it, it'll pop off the track. I have to go in and fix it. Well, the screws were a little loose, so it popped off the track on the bottom when Ben pushed on it when he was in the shower. He is terrified of that door now. If he gets in the shower, he
Oh,
asks
is
me
he?
to switch the shower doors, one like slide the other one to the other side
Yeah.
because he doesn't want to sit by the one that pops off. I'm like, Ben, I fixed it. Like I went upstairs, like tightened the screws. It's fine now. He's like, I don't want the door. Can you switch the doors for me? Okay. It's just so wild what they like hold on to and like the zombie thing I get. You can be afraid of the zombie thing.
Right.
But like the shower door, it's not it
Yeah.
wasn't even like loud. It just like popped off and now he's afraid of it.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, kids are wild. The things they hold on to. I mean, it's funny the repetitiveness of things that they like to do.
Mhm.
So I noticed like they play with like the same 3 cups in the bathroom or in the shower,
Yep.
shower tub. But then like depending on like the action they're doing determines what is like their background. So for example, upstairs, they'll watch like the same YouTube videos over and over and over again. The minute they come downstairs, they watch like the same 3 videos they remember watching in the basement, which is like these Play-Doh guys, these uh stuffed toys called Goo Goo and Gaga, and like one other thing. And like usually it's a fight getting those videos on upstairs, but the minute they come down, like those are their downstairs videos, and then they have like
Mhm.
upstairs videos, which is so interesting. Um, and like whenever they go outside, like Grayson only wants to do one thing, and that's roll a ball and kick it. And Cora only wants to play one game if I'm out there with her. And it's just these repetitive things that like have created these memories in their head that they just want to continue to do these same things. And I think it's the same thing with these irrational fears of a door and pooping in the shower.
Yeah. It's
you
it's
know?
crazy. The other side of that coin too is I feel like my kids have gotten bored of their toys recently. It's like really hard
Yeah.
recently to get them to play, but we come downstairs, right? And it's a toy that Ben had for a long time, and he found it and he played with it for like 30 minutes the other day.
Oh wow.
And he just like found an old toy and started playing with it again. And it's like one that he had gotten old. And it's just Katie always talks about like we need to rotate toys more and things like that. And I think she's right because
Yeah.
we have so many toys in the house.
I think so too.
I feel like they just don't stick with them long enough. Like
Yeah.
my boys, they are truck kids through and through. But anytime like, why don't you get your
Right.
trucks out and play with your trucks? They're like, no, I don't want to play with trucks. I don't want to play with trucks. But if I get the trucks out, boom, they're all on it. So
Right.
kids are weird, man. It's also no, we're gonna transition a little bit into my therapy part of this. Um,
Yeah.
the kids right now, they're so needy, not in a bad way, not like like whiny needy kind of thing, but like they need attention a lot right now,
Yeah.
and it's different than when like before this age, it was like they need attention to stay alive, right? Like you
Right.
need to pay attention to them to make sure that they're not like falling down and smacking their head on the concrete, or like they
Right.
need attention to stay alive. They're both old enough and independent enough that like they can play by themselves, they can play together, they can do their own things. And at the same time, now more and more they want more like it's especially hard because right now like Ben's home with me half days during the week, right? And I have to
Right.
work, I have to be like and he like really struggles to play by himself. He needs something or somebody to play with. And it's so different because before
Right.
he used to be really good at just like, I'll play by myself and it'll play for a long time. Um,
Yeah.
and it's just a weird phase that they're both in right now that they both need somebody playing with them like all the time. Um,
Mhm.
it's crazy. It's also much harder to do that when they're older because the attention that you have to give them is much different than, hey, let me just like
Yeah.
hold you and make sure you're okay. Not necessarily like, let me sit down on the floor and like build a magnetile tower with both of you at the same time and make sure nobody's
Right.
knocking it down or pushing it over or anything like that.
Mhm. It's tough because yeah, our kids are yeah, my kids have just like rediscovered towers and magnet tiles and stuff. So yeah, they definitely it's like they come play with me. Then it's like build your tower separately. But Grayson wants all the yellow blocks, and if Cora has one, ugh,
Hmm.
it's tough. It is tough out here. Yeah, it's tough out there. So the last few weeks though have been wild. I don't even remember if so we've seen each other at a bonfire,
Yep.
we've seen each other at a Lions game,
Yes.
and we went to a housewarming party this past weekend.
It has been
Been
busy. Like just straight up busy.
busy.
Uh
Yeah. What are we gonna say?
I don't
It's
know.
just been chaotic around here. Like life's just constantly busy, constantly moving. But we did get to go to the Lions game, and
We did.
it was a great game. We got to see those alternate uniforms,
That was
which
I have like Lions are not my favorite sporting event to go to downtown. Um
yeah,
Mainly because it's busier than the other sporting events I go to, right? Like
right,
the Red Wings and the Tigers have so many games that on like any given day that you're going to a game, it's crazy, but it's not that crazy. The Lions, and especially right now cuz they're good. It's
yeah,
nuts. Like the parking lot I parked in. We'll get to your parking situation too because you parked, but the parking lot I parked
yeah,
in on like a Red Wings game day would be $20. It was
right,
$50 to park there for Monday night.
crazy,
And the only reason I paid it is because I didn't have to pay for the tickets. Um,
right.
so like I was like, yeah, I'll pay for that. But it is absolutely insane downtown right now. But I will say, when the Lions are good and going to a game like that is good,
Oof,
nothing beats it. Nothing beats it.
it's so good. It was so much fun. It was a blast. I also had free tickets to that from one of my buddies. And I decided, hey, I'm gonna park in a free parking structure.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, that all of Detroit knows about. Um,
Yeah, it was a secret
Parking
like
was
4 years
easy.
ago.
Yeah, yeah. Parking was easy. Getting out sucked. The game lasted till like 11:30 or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. Cause it was an 8:25 Monday night game. Um,
Yeah, it's important context. It was Monday night.
Monday night. It was crazy. So my buddy left who parked in the same parking lot or parking structure, left at like 11 o'clock. So like a half an hour before the game was over.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I got back to the structure just before midnight, maybe.
Yep.
Um, and I'd gotten a text from him saying, "Hey, I made it home." So it's like 11:45, 12 o'clock, and there's just a line of cars getting out of the structure. And I turned on my car and I sat for an hour and a half in my parking spot.
Yep.
And it was about 1:30 before I finally was able to leave that structure. Uh, it was the most insane leaving experience I've ever had in any event I've ever been to, and I was getting so frustrated. I didn't know what to do. And then I got home at like 2:30 in the morning and then turned around and went to work in Livonia the next morning. Uh, was ridiculous.
I tried to warn you. I promise. I tried to warn you.
Yeah. You did. I should have listened. I should have just paid the $50.
Or even
Yeah, it was
or
crazy.
even left early, right? That's the other
Yeah.
that garage is great, but you have to leave before everybody leaves. uh, because you'll get stuck. Because we talked about parking in that garage too, but that same thing happened. My buddy, our buddy, not just my buddy, our buddy has season tickets, and on the season opener,
Yeah.
it was also a night game against the Rams, and he said they sat in their parking spot for literally an hour and a half before they got
Yeah.
home. He's like, I'll never park there again on game days.
Yeah, I definitely won't. If I ever get the opportunity to go again, definitely won't.
It's happened to us like where we've sat for like 20, 30 minutes in a spot after a Red Wings game, but that was like if you stayed till
Yeah.
the very end and it was a shootout or it was like a really like intense game, you stay till the end. But normally for Red Wings games, I can get in and out of that garage pretty easily, but there's no way for Lions game. And that's like kind of my complaint about the Lions games is like parking just sucks. And like
Yeah.
finding a decent parking spot, not paying like $100 for and the one thing for everybody who doesn't live in Detroit, the terrible thing about Detroit parking is that we have a billion parking lots and like very few parking structures, right?
Yeah.
The parking lots are so haphazardly like costly. Like $50 for this parking lot, around the corner was $70. Like literally,
Yeah.
if you just turn right on the next street, it was $70. And it's like what there's no difference between these two lots, but just randomly it's $20 more expensive. And it's like it's just so it's ridiculous. Anyway, I could complain
Yeah.
about this all the time. This is ultimately the Illich's fault, and I'll complain about that till forever. Um, but the experience of being at the game and like seeing that game happen live was phenomenal. Even though you kicked
It
my
was
ass in
amazing.
fantasy that week.
That's right, I did. We're doing great in fantasy football. This guy over here, uh, just racking up the wins over on this side. Um, but that game was great. I think we do need to talk about the Cowboys game a little bit.
Okay,
Be-
I,
What a game!
I don't even I have processed and it got to a point where I was folding laundry and watching it, and so the 4 o'clock games, I would much like if I had my choice, make it 1 o'clock or make it 8 o'clock, because
Yes.
like 4 until 7:30, 8 o'clock is like my busiest time of every day, right?
Right.
And so I was watching the 1 o'clock games and folding laundry, and then I started getting everything together and I actually like didn't even see the kickoff of the game. I like walked back out into the living room and I was like, "Oh, the game started." Um and so I watched the first half and then it was starting to get to like shower time, bedtime, like all the stuff that we start doing.
Yeah.
I was like, "All right, hold on. I want to watch." And Katie like walks out and looks at the score. And it was the right at the beginning of the second half. She goes, "Why are you still even watching this game?" And then that's when Jared threw the touchdown to JMO and made it like
Yeah.
34-6 or something like that. I was like,
Yeah.
that's why I was watching. I wanted to see that touchdown, and now I'm good. Now they'll win. I don't have to worry about it.
Right. Yeah. It's thankfully like my night wasn't too busy, but like yeah, it just kept going. And then it's like, oh, are the Cowboys gonna make a touchdown? And it's like, nope, not gonna.
Nope.
And then it's like then Aiden Hutchinson happened.
I
And crazy.
Are you a injury rewatcher? Like, are you a sicko that
Oh,
watches the
I've
injury
wa-
videos?
I've watched it a couple times, yeah.
You're a sicko. You are a sicko. I can't do it. It
Yeah.
honestly makes me queasy to watch. Like the slow mo replays, like people popping their knees backwards, or like the slow mo replays of like even Aaron Rodgers popping his Achilles. They showed it like 100 times last year when it happened because it was like such a big deal. And every time
Yeah.
you could watch him like take the step, and you could see his like Achilles pop under his skin, and I was like, it made me sick to my stomach, and I was like, I don't want to do this. I cannot rewatch sports injury videos. Like I just can't do it.
Yeah. It's pretty bad. And Hutch's was pretty bad. Um,
I
Boy, does that suck.
I did see him mouth "It's broken" while he was writhing in pain on the field, and I was like, okay, I don't need to see it. And then they came back. They're like, we're not gonna, it's brutal. We're not going to show it to you. I'm like, okay, good. Then I'm not going
Yeah. It was bad, and then it's just that sucks. It really sucks.
to. it it sucks even more. This is a little bit about my state of football fandom. Lets you know how much of a little sicko I am. Um,
Yeah.
so I have been such a jaded Lions fan for so long that I frequently think about what the headlines of the game will be while the game's going on,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
And so forever it was, oh, the Lions blew this, the Lions, blah blah blah, all this stuff. And now that they're getting good, I want the headlines to reflect that.
Right.
And the Lions were drumming the media's favorite team. The Cowboys have such a big fan base. Everybody loves talking about the Cowboys. And here's the dirty little secret. Everybody loves talking shit about the Cowboys because it gets so many hate
Yes.
clicks, right? And like hate bait and things like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's going to be like right after that touchdown JMO, I was like, this is a drubbing. It's going to be a just Lions love fest. Cowboys are terrible. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
That's the whole headline. And then as soon as Aiden got hurt, my sicko brain was like, "This is what's the phrase? Pyrrhic victory, right? Like where you won, but at what cost?"
Right.
And that was every headline. The next morning was Lions win, but lose their shot at the Super Bowl. Lions win, but lose. And I was like, why can't we just have it? Why can't we just have one good
Right.
thing?
But, like, what a good ego boost for Hutch, though. I mean, like,
Yeah.
like, everybody knew he was amazing, but now literally everybody in the football community, first of all, was, like, very sad by it, like,
Yes.
very, like, you know, uh, and then everybody was, like, talking about, like, is this gonna ruin the Lions? Like, is this one guy gonna, create that big of an issue, which I don't think they will. Like,
I don't
they've
either.
got other players, right? They can fill the
Their
holes
offense
and
is a
do something
juggernaut
different.
right now.
Yeah. Um, but my God, I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. So we got the Vikings on Sunday, who is my defense on my fantasy team,
Ooh. So
and they're doing great.
I don't know if I've told this story on the podcast before. Ben has picked a football team just off a color, right? And just was one.
Okay.
So when I first had him, like when he was first like cognizant enough to know like I was watching football, I was like, we have mommy's team and daddy's team. Mommy's team is red because it's the Chiefs, and daddy's team is blue because they're the Lions. And Ben goes, well, my team's purple. And I was like,
That's
okay,
fun.
okay. Then he remembered that when the Lions played the Vikings last season. He goes, look, daddy, my team. And I was like, yeah, bud, that is your team.
That's funny.
Now he knows it. Now he knows his team's a purple team. Um,
Hey, that's great. A three-team household.
but he doesn't know that they're the Vikings because he still like wants to wear Lions stuff and still wants to root for the Lions.
Right.
Like when I go, oh, touchdown, him and Will both go touchdown, touchdown, which is great. Very nice for me.
Yeah.
Um, and but he still will say like, where's my team? And
Right.
so it hurts. It hurts a little bit on the inside.
It does. That's funny. Um, nice. Well, you got anything else you want to say to these folks out here?
I'm good. I think really just we're trying our best. I know we're not super consistent right
We're
now.
trying our best.
It is between my house getting broken into and all the shit that's been going on. It's just been a nutty month, to be honest.
Yeah,
We're gonna get back to doing
totally.
topics. We're gonna get back into like talking about actual things that are happening in life. We got some content planned coming up. Both Joe and I have some life changes happening that we're gonna talk about soon. So big things coming up. We're going to keep talking to you guys about it. Appreciate you sticking with us, and appreciate everybody that you're telling about the podcast. Tell them to keep listening. Go listen back to some of our original episodes. I think we've revisited some of our original like birth story episodes, and there's some good stuff in there. So go back and listen to
It,
those.
there is. There definitely is. There's people in our lives that are having babies all the time, and I say,
Yeah.
hey, I got a podcast for you. Start from the beginning. Um, so definitely go check out some of that old stuff. It's sound quality's not great, but it's not bad. There's a lot more life lessons, I guess, in those ones. A
Yeah.
lot more teaching stuff. But thank you all so much for listening. We really appreciate you. If you haven't already, give us a like, a comment, a subscribe, a rating, a review, all that stuff. That really helps us out. Shoot us an email at bigdadenergypod@gmail.com. Send us some ideas, some things you want to hear about. Let us know, what's going on in your lives, what your stories are, because we'd love to hear that. And check us out, on any other podcast and YouTube. And thank you to Planet Ant for having us on their podcast network.
Like Joe said, go find us on YouTube. We're at Big Dad Energy Podcast. Go follow us on Twitter at Big Dad Energy Pod, or Instagram Big Dad Energy Podcast. Appreciate you guys coming back and listening. Like I said, we'll be better moving forward. Maybe not immediately. We might not be back on our regular weekly schedule starting next week. It's doubtful, but soon we'll be back on a much regular schedule. Have a better idea of when we're able to record and what we're able to do. So appreciate you guys bearing with us. Thank you for coming back. For both of us, I'm Jared Shmansky.
I'm Joe Lopez.
Remember, click your tongues twice before you use them.
Dads.
This has been a production of Planet Ant Podcast, powered by Pinecast.